Hi, this is Digital Fam, and welcome to Overland, the YouTube channel that focuses on the OVR.ai platform and its community. So, subscribe to this channel if you are interested or curious about platform developments and especially what the community is doing with their overlands, otherwise known as hexes or hexagons. Now, in this video, I'm going to have another OVR member join me, and his name is Charles, and he is going to talk about the recent treasure hunt issue. And if you don't know what that is, then feel free to click the link right up here and watch it and then come back. Okay, so let's meet Charles. So Charles, I know that there were some mentions on the main Telegram group and in the other niche Telegram groups that, people were saying that the treasure hunt was a waste of time, and it's definitely a good idea to create a specific group for just talking about the treasure hunt. I'm thinking that we need to be careful, or I need to be careful once I see a comment and not perceive it as like negative, meaning to them, when they say it's a waste of time, maybe for sure they're saying it's a waste of time just relative in context to them. But I'm pretty sure if they just reacted to that. But if they really thought about it, they would probably retract that sentence.
And I get it. If I was in the middle of a conversation with some people, talking about some business per se, maybe we're talking about how or what we're going to do with our restaurant, what food we're going to serve there, and somebody comes in and they're concerned about whether or not the cups are going to say Coca-Cola or Dr. Pepper. And I could see how people, in that conversation could be like, dude, we were talking about what we're going to serve as our food, and you're talking about what the labels are going to be on the cups, and so it is, and I can see both sides of it. But again, the most important part about what really happened, or even that topic of the tokens, what the thing that really brought it up was everybody's tokens disappeared, right? And so with everybody's tokens disappearing, they told us why. They said, we're scanning everybody's tokens. Everybody's tokens are going to be moved. Okay. So they're going to disappear from here and they're going to pop up, right?
Okay. I don't mean to interrupt you, but for those people who don't even know what the heck we're talking about, give them a brief, like OVR, the treasure hunt, and then like that.
Gotcha. Too easy. So what is the OVR and the treasure hunt? Well, OVR, the platform itself, is an augmented reality platform. It was opened up to the public for everybody. Anybody and everybody can go on and buy their own, what we call an OVR land or an overland hexel. There's 300 square meters. Inside of that 300 square meters, you can, what do you want to do? So if, for example, I bought my house, right? And so for Christmas, 4th of July, Halloween, those little things, my kids and I, we've already started creating our own characters, our own little decorations, yard decorations. So instead of we'll probably still put up lights, because who doesn't put up lights at Christmas? But we'll have a little sign in the yard where people can scan with their phone, just because I think it's common. It's not giant to see if they knew, so that people can, and then they'll see the decorations and holiday experience on the OVR app.
What a great idea.
I think that's just a lot of fun. It's real basic. Anybody can do it. You don't have to be an artist. You don't have to be a creator. You don't have to understand NFTs. You don't have to have a background. You don't have to be a scholar, or an architect, or a designer. Our kids are doing it every day on Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite, everything else. Anyways, they're already this is not new. I didn't have to teach my kids how to do any of this. But the truth is, they've probably showed me more than I've showed them. And so with the treasure hunt side of it, going out and what you can do now, and the tokens and what OVR is offered, even before you build on your land.
Okay. Walk us through now the treasure hunt. So it is a mobile app. It is part of a feature or a game on the OVR mobile app. So you download it on from Apple or Google Play Store. Okay, and then what happens?
Um, so once you've downloaded it, you can log in with your Facebook or your Google. I mean, there's a few other ways. I think those are probably the more common. Um, Whatever email you use, just make sure that's an email that you're always going to have access to, or that you continue, because the world is changing. It's no longer your address, physically. It's also going to be your address virtually. That is your e-commerce now. So, and that's that's a whole nother topic for what OVR can do for you. But with once you're in there, you can play the treasure hunt game. When you first get in there, you get a free treasure chest that you can go find. Okay. It's not you open up the app and there's a treasure hunt or treasure chest. No, you're gonna go hunt for it. You're gonna find it.
Okay, what is in the treasure chests?
So in the treasure chest are OVR tokens. They're not coins. It's not a currency. It's used mainly in just for the OVR platform. Okay. You can purchase your overlands with it. Soon, hopefully, we'll be able to purchase, NFTs and other things and experiences and creations inside the OVR app itself. When you go and find that though, okay, so let's say you find 0.1, okay, and you want to open another one, but you can't. Well, now you can, with a credit card, purchase tokens so that you'll be able to purchase the package. So you're not just opening one treasure chest, you can go and open 10, okay, or you could open 10 a day, okay, depending on the packages you purchase.
Okay, so do you have to pay? Is that a package? Okay, so you said earlier you get to open one treasure chest a day initially?
For free, you'll get 5, okay? As from what I understand, you'll still get 5. You'll get 5 free treasure chests, 1 a day for 5 days, okay? But if you wanted to open more, say you didn't want to just open the one, because when you open it, you see that there's 5 or 6 more just right here, right? And yeah, this one gave you 0.1, but the next 10, you could end up getting 8 OVR or 10 OVR or however. So if you wanted to do that, you've never purchased the cryptocurrency before, you don't have a wallet, you don't have any of those things, don't worry. In the app, credit card, okay?
Did they always have the credit card, or was that recent?
That's super new.
So what is this issue? So, okay, so apparently people have been playing the treasure hunt game for, I guess, months. How long have you been playing the treasure hunt game?
Months. No, I started in March, okay, was when I really first found out about the OVR app and got involved. I came across it, and as soon as I saw it, I called a friend of mine. I was like, dude, you gotta check this out. And so he was at work, he's a plumber, so I don't know if he was under a house or on top of a house or in the middle of the house, but he was somewhere working, and he calls me immediately. He says, my hands are dirty, I'm gonna have to wash my phone, but this is unreal. Wow. I said, I know, right? We immediately jumped on and started playing the treasure hunt game, with our kids, because that was something we wanted to test the app out. This is how I know that this is going to take off right here. When an 8-year-old takes something and goes off with it for 2 hours.
Wow.
Okay. And doesn't ask you any questions, and then comes back and says your phone's dead. There's an interest there. Okay.
Okay. But what did he do with those 2 hours? Was he in the OVR app, and was he actually?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it was 2 hours, and he killed my phone playing in the app. He went through the cathedral. He played with the farm and the zoo, and he went and woke his brothers and sister up and said, hey guys, you got to come play this with me. They went outside and walked around. We went treasure hunting immediately, but the kids run their mouths. And so they started talking to people. They're like, hey, no, you gotta look at this. So their friends are on it. They're on it. They started hanging out with their friends just in the virtual rooms, just calling each other, hanging out on Mars.
Right. You know what? I'm going to stop you there for a second. So for those people who is not, when Charles mentioned the cathedral, so basically what he's saying is, so when he gave his son the phone, and then the son went and took it for 2 hours walking to a cathedral, it's actually, there are rooms or spaces, augmented reality places in the OVR app that you can go to. There's art galleries, there's a disco on Mars. So there's actually the Vatican, where you can look at the Sistine Chapel. So that's what Charles was related to. So you guys have to download the OVR app on Apple or Google, and you'll see what we're talking about. Okay, sorry, Charles, go on.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, so we went and started playing the treasure hunt game, and in for us at the time, it was, the tokens were cool. Okay. But even at the moment, they really didn't have, and we didn't know then when we'd actually have access to those tokens. And so the biggest game for us, like my kids had their phone, but they really didn't play the treasure hunt game because they had no purpose for the tokens. Okay.
Mm,
But what we did was we said we went for how many treasure chests we could open. Okay. And how fast we could open, how can
nice.
we get to, and so like I said, we go to the parks and we'd walk going and we figured out, you could, the maps actually kind of make, a trail,
Yes,
for the treasure
yes,
chest.
yes.
They each have their own little treasure chest path. And if you
Mm-hmm.
catch that path and go on it, then you can get cool treasures. And so we ended up, we went for that 1,000 chest and we nailed it. And I remember that the kids, you they'll tell you, that they're like, yeah, we did it, because I told them if we did it, then we'd all get the shirts that say, I quit my job to become a pirate. And
Oh,
so
yes, I saw that post actually. So
and
just to move stuff along, what was the total amount of tokens that you or your children have gathered up to a certain point before the
we
issue happened? How many tokens did you actually have?
we had like 760 or so.
Okay. And what was the most amount of tokens a treasure chest or one of the treasure chests that you guys had discovered had? Was it 100?
uh no, it was 50. I never found 100. In fact, the most common that we found was really like the point two. And so we opened 1,039 or so chests. Okay.
Wow. And how long did
And
that take you from a span of March till recent, right?
no, so we actually hit that mark. We hit it a few weeks ago. Um, but it took us, we figured out we could open about 100 chests in it would take us anywhere from about 2 hours, an hour, 2 hours, somewhere in there, a minute per chest. Okay, well then
Right,
you'd still
right.
only be able to open 60 in an hour. So it could take us in, but we'd run, and then sometimes the app would fall out and we'd be like, oh no, and so because it'd be dark, it wouldn't
Okay,
work,
okay. That's
Um,
great. Okay,
yeah.
now let's get back to
I'm sorry.
no, 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 not at all. I'm always going to do this. I'm going to always pull you back
Mhm. Are
and
you gonna
really
do your
get
job and like make sure this works? I
yeah,
got
yeah. No, and you no, you're fine. You are fine.
you.
You are
Good.
fine, okay? You are fine.
Mhm.
I just want to make sure I cut my editing out time. So there was a day. Tell me what happened and how you felt when one day you opened up the OVR app and the treasure hunt feature and there was like zero
No,
tokens.
there was zero token. Um,
So what
so
was
I
that? What
actually,
happened to your
I
tokens? How did you feel and what happened? What did you do once you found out?
so when it hit zero, when I saw, because I actually saw it on the Telegram first, somebody got on there and said, "Hey, my token's are at zero." I was like, So I looked at mine, my tokens were at zero too. So I looked, and by the time I, got off the Telegram, saw them say it, checked my OVR, and went back to the Telegram. I think Alex or somebody had already responded saying, don't worry, we're finishing up. We just closed out our, the KYC, and so we're just cleaning everything up. Um, and they, even at that time, they announced like 4,000 people that had passed. Okay, and somebody at the time mentioned something about, there's 100,000 downloads of the app, and you're saying only 4,000 people passed and cleared, or only they're going to get their tokens.
Okay, so
Those.
let's talk about
Go ahead.
that KYC thing. So for those people who don't know, and I did do a video earlier about that particular issue, the token hunting or the missing token issue. And if you want to see that video, then just click right up here. Okay, so let's talk about the KYC process. So I know that the team, and you know this too, they have been very good about communicating. And they did say that people who were playing the treasure hunt game and had collected tokens, they would now be able to connect the amount, what is it? Explain to me. The tokens with their OVR count on the website, right?
Correct. So essentially now you're um, the tokens that were in the app, okay, that we received can now be used to they're fully functional, all the way through. We can pull those out through our MetaMask wallet. Okay, that was supposed to be the big thing. That's really the kicker is now those we can actually pull those out. Okay, they're those became fungible for those of us that could use them.
Right. So the tokens that people have been collecting in the treasure hunt prior, it was just collecting tokens. But
Right,
now those OVR tokens, once they
right,
connected it to a MetaMask wallet, a crypto
yeah,
wallet, then they
right,
can use it to bid on overlands. So
right,
the MetaMask wallet people, because it sits on the blockchain and it's a legit thing,
right,
people who were just playing the game not really realizing. I'm sure there was a group of people not really realizing or didn't care about purchasing land, but if they did, they had to go through a KYC process, which is a know your client, know your customer. And what does that mean? It means that people who wanted to use those tokens collected in the treasure hunt, who wanted to bid on overlands, they had to like upload legal government documents so that it can be tied to or connected to, like what Charles said in email, not necessarily a physical property, because that is your your identity. So you would have to upload and prove that you are who you are. Why? Because now you're into the monetization phase. So you are taking the tokens that actually you are rewarded from your efforts playing the treasure hunt game. And now it's really becoming like what Charles said, fungible or monetization. That's why you need a governmental ID. The team did make an announcement and they were giving people 20 days to make sure to complete the KYC process. And I know that it doesn't take 20 days. They say that it might take a few hours or the next day, but honestly, for me to get approved for my KYC, it literally took 10 minutes. Go on. What do you think, Charles?
No, you're right. The KYC issue, whether or not you had done it, they gave. I mean, it was about a month, um, and there were quite a few of us that actually got on and even talked about it on our own channels. I think you mentioned it. Hey, look, this is finally happening. We can finally do this. To get this out there and get this done. And so it wasn't real quiet. The KYC,
Mhm.
the and even the tokens going to zero when they came out and said that why it happened. Hey, we're just verifying everybody's things. Everybody you'll know on Monday if you were the one of the ones that actually if you're one of the 4,000 kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so on Monday morning, a lot of people woke up. They weren't one of the 4,000. And so, excuse me. So a lot of us got on the app, and I think even the day prior, we talked about it in the Telegram group. A few of us we mentioned that, hey, this is going to be an issue. I mean,
Mhm.
someone said, hey, you've got 4,000. I think it may have been Renee or Alexis, somebody in there. I can't remember on the Telegram group. They're pretty common. Got on there and mentioned that, hey, there's going to be 4,000, but you've only got 4,000. There's 100,000 downloads. There's going to be issues. And so, what do we do? And so we talked, we knew this was going to happen. Everybody knew. And so I kind of expected to be one of those people. I mean, if there's only 4,000 out of 100,000, there's no reason I shouldn't be, right? And so within 30 minutes to an hour of somebody getting in a Telegram group and saying, hey, I still don't have my tokens,
Right.
uh, I think, Alex and Wisdom got in there and said, look, we see it, we understand. Um, and the team's going to get together and we'll have an answer for you tomorrow. And so
Right.
a lot of people got upset that, why can't you give me an answer now? Well, it's not that easy, you know. The because again, it is a blockchain thing, and it's an algorithm. It's a computer code. It's only going to do exactly what it's supposed to do, and it worked. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. And so for a lot of it, we're that floating hexel. Okay, maybe we click the treasure because on our app and right here in front of us, here it is. But maybe we were actually 30 or 40 or 50, 60 meters off from where that was, and then all of a sudden the app resets and boom, so we get caught for mock GPS, or that's just one possibility of why a lot of us had this issue.
Right.
Um,
So there was a time when recently that people noticed that when they opened the treasure hunt game, their tokens were gone, and Charles was one of them. So they had, obviously they were alarmed, and then they mentioned this in the main Telegram group. So the issue was, the reason why some people had zero tokens or lost tokens, or their tokens went missing, was because somewhere in the back end, the developer team realized through the evolution of the game that people were actually cheating the system. Now, they didn't really know particularly who. I feel like they just identified based on the data they were collecting. I will put out that announcement where they identified the points in terms of what types of actions were considered cheating the system. And here it is. So that Monday that Charles just mentioned is the Monday of recent, where people would know if they were one of the 4,000. Is it, Charles, is it one of the 4,000 that was identified as like cheating the system?
No, there were 4,000 that were found to have everything good and correct and passed and cleared.
Okay. And that's right. And yet there were people on that Monday who apparently did not cheat the system. They did everything right. I believe they did pass their KYC, and yet they also still did not get their tokens. So what happened then, what happened then, Charles? How did the team handle that situation?
So they gave us a form that we could fill out, kind of like the form just saying, why do it was just your ID, your name, and then why do you feel you should get your tokens? Exactly what their question is. Why do you feel you should receive your tokens? And so, for me, for example, I put, well, I documented everything. Okay, so I didn't cheat. I don't know how else to say it. So, and then they went back. And then that next day, after we put in the forms and then we got our response from those forms, a lot of us found out, that it was for the mock GPS, and that was where we found out. Now, some people, it was for not passing the KYC. Some of us, it was for the mock GPS. Now, for not completing your KYC or not passing your KYC, I'm sure that there's probably people that didn't pass their KYC that should have, for whatever reason, but that's I think those issues can probably be cleared up, or should be able to be cleared up through a KYC process. If they didn't do it in time, now that's a whole nother story. But for those that had the mock GPS that really didn't cheat, that we just got caught because the world floated away. The reality kept floating while the reality was still here. So for those of us that had that issue, what do we do? So we filled out our form and we got our reply. It was a no reply email. So, and we said that in the group, we're like, well, there's, we can't respond to this email. And so the team got back and said, look, we're gonna check this issue, see what we can do.
Okay. Have you heard back from them yet?
Yes. Yeah. They responded back yesterday, actually. So Monday, everything went down, where we were like, where's our tokens? Tuesday, we had filled out our forms from Monday. We got our responses on Tuesday. Tuesday, we said, we filled out our forms, still don't have our tokens. And so they said on Wednesday, they came back and said, okay, here's what happened. We're having to go through and manually do this, and change everybody's stuff back and go through. We did find out that there were a lot of these situations that happened. Okay. And so for those of you that had this happen, you'll get your tokens now.
Okay. So I'm glad that they got back to you. So what they got back to you currently, do you have your tokens right now?
No. And so this upcoming Monday, we should have all of our tokens back. There's supposed to be a big app update.
So Charles, now that you have to wait till next Monday to see what the status of your OVR tokens are. How do you feel right now? Do you feel positive that it's going to be there?
Yeah, I think they'll be there. There's always that part of me. I'm never going to tell you anything is 100%. I'm never going to use an absolute, especially right there.
So here's a question. Not sure if you're a programmer or developer, but you definitely are an investor of OVRLands, because I know you do own some hexagons, do you not?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I own one or two. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, I think okay, you're being very, very okay, sure. So in your opinion, because you are a user
Mhm.
and an investor, I just want to know from you, could this situation have been handled better? And if so, I know that a part of it is also part of the algorithm or the code,
Um,
that it allowed for these discrepancies. What do you
I really think that I think the way it was handled was very well done. Um, I think that they were quick to communicate, and that's a big thing. Just as an example, for anyone that's ever owned a home or has a home, okay, you have a contractor, a construction worker, you have a contractor that comes in, and they say, you make all these big plans. You're going to have this kind of paint. You're going to have this kind of wood. You're going to have everything done right. And then the contractor goes to the store to get it, and he finds out that he can't. Right. Okay. And so he has to come back and say, hey, we're going to have to make these changes. The homeowner can make all the complaints they want to, but it really doesn't matter. It doesn't change the reality of what's really there.
Wow.
And that was part of the big thing with these tokens, that it wasn't just a choice for the team to be like, oh, well, we'll just give them their tokens back. No, that it was, where are we going to get these tokens from? How were we going to do this without hurting the economic system that's already here? Because this is an off-chain going on-chain thing going here. Okay,
Right.
so how do we do this without affecting that whole ecosystem and messing up everybody, and still being fair, I guess you could say.
Right. So that is a really great analogy you brought up. And people do need to remember, and I know you've mentioned this in the main Telegram group as well as the other smaller groups, is that this is still a new platform. I'm not sure how many people are on the developer team, but I'm pretty sure it's not in the hundreds, or maybe not even
Right.
way into the double digits. And they're working really, really hard. And people have to understand that, well, in my opinion, this is still all beta.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not the whole world can
Right.
access and download the app, the actual programming
Right.
and the onboarding of all these people and how they use it and the different devices and the operating systems and whatnot, it's
Right.
all still an evolution. And people have to understand, and maybe they don't. And you know what? Maybe they don't need to understand. Maybe they don't. And maybe this is where education has to come in. And the OVR team really has to utilize the social media communication channels. What I don't understand is, and I'm not sure if they do, I feel that every person who is invested in Overland or who is interested in the project, they should subscribe to a newsletter. They should subscribe to something that goes out generally, because even though there's like what 20 something thousand people in the main Overland group, the main over group, I'm pretty sure not all of them are active. I don't even know if they are even using Telegram a lot, so they're not capturing all the announcements. Now, is it their responsibility to keep up to breast with all the latest announcements? Yeah, to me, what do you think? I think, yeah, if you're invested in something, or that gives you the level of interest you have. What do you think?
Well, I think that any specific to the token issue, I think that anyone that was that knew that they could take their tokens and put them into a MetaMask wallet knew and understood a KYC process, and knew that if they're going to have any kind of anything go from here into that wallet, they're not going to be able to, so and the original KYC was just to connect that wallet to the marketplace side. It was not, it had never been connected to the app, and they told that to everybody. That wasn't a secret. Now I
Yes.
know on the app, and this was some things that people talked about, was it just all it said was, withdrawable soon, or coming soon. You'll be able to withdraw these soon.
Mhm.
It never actually said, you'll be able to withdraw these as soon as you do this KYC with a little button. Okay. Could they have added things like that? Sure. But, in hindsight, they could have also just like done a whole home screen that said, hey, you can't go past this point until you do this thing. But, I mean, it's okay. That they did put it out there. It wasn't a secret. It was on the website, a big banner up
Hmm.
there, you know.
Hmm.
Um, yes, if you again, if all you did was use the app for the treasure hunt and you never got online, well, then you didn't ever connect your MetaMask to have your wallet.
I know that the OVR team gave people plenty of time. I mean, 20 days to complete a KYC when it took me only 10 minutes.
Right.
And it took me 10 minutes because actually something happened with my phone. It glitched. So I actually had to do it twice. But within that 10 minutes, it took 10 minutes completely for both times. Um, I will say this though. We know that the team is primarily in Italy. Not sure if there are other people in the team from different parts of the world. It does not matter. But what does matter is that when people are communicating not in their native language to people who have, like, obviously their own first language, sometimes sentences do not come out the way they need to because it's like, right? So kudos to the developer team. Kudos to Alex and Wisdom and PDX Music and Antonio Lacine. Like, there's so many other people I'm not mentioning because, like, I really don't know who they really are, except I know the ones that are active. But kudos to them for always providing a timely response. Sometimes their responses aren't the way native English speakers or Americans are used to. Because I used to live in Germany, and I was a business language trainer in Germany. And you know what? I was training one-on-one people in management. I was training directors of Lufthansa. I was business language training people, managers of Commerzbank, Deutsche Bank. And guess what those English language lessons were? They were how to do small talk. Because the Germans in general, maybe the new generation is fine with it, but the Germans in general, there is no small talk with business.
No,
They come into a meeting and it's bum bum bum. Nothing, no, nothing gets taken personally.
there's no
It is what
small
it
talk in
is.
real business, anyways.
Right. But in North America, because they're starting to
Yeah.
have more meetings with the United States and stuff, they even told me, was ist dies? They don't understand the small talk. How's the weather? How are the kids? To them, this could be cultural and maybe it's changed, but I completely understand. To them, it's like it's a waste of time. Why do we want to talk about the weather? Why do you want to say, how's my wife and kids and dogs? And I had to explain to them that in Canada and the United States, that's just a way of people getting comfortable. And they couldn't understand that. And then I realized, Charles, and I finally, it dawned on me that in Germany, you guys were Germans for hundreds and hundreds of years. Sure, you guys had different, what is it, kingdoms and stuff like that. And they just recently got together in the past 200 years as a collective country. But they were Germans in the same soil for hundreds of years, speaking more or less the same language. I know there's different dialects in German, like Swabish and all that stuff. And I had to remind them that in Canada and United States and North America, and I am excluding Mexico because there are indigenous people of Mexico. So I'm just excluding that. But I said, maybe we have to find small talk because we know innately that we are not all the same. We know that we have different backgrounds. Like, I'm Filipino, a completely different culture from Japanese, from Polish, from somebody who comes from Sri Lanka. So I told the Germans that perhaps we're doing small talk to kind of like calibrate an energy where we feel comfortable to make sure, is this okay to say? Can I not say this? And once we find that common energy link,
Hmm.
then it's okay to discuss that. And
Right.
then I said, because in Germany, you guys you guys are blessed and are lucky that you guys have the same history. I mean, maybe not the same, but the
Right.
land you sit on, whereas in North America, it's like a mosaic, it's like a mishmash of people, other than like Mexico. That's probably why. So sorry. So to get to my point, I do see that sometimes there are sentences that the admin people say that native English speakers, now I could be wrong, this is just my perception, but native English speakers or whoever, or even another language could be like, and it's not
Right.
comforting, right?
Oh yeah.
Whereas in customer service, when
Hmm.
people are in customer service on the phones, wherever they are, if they're in Mumbai or wherever that call center is, they are trained to really make the person feel comfortable with
Right.
certain words.
Right.
The
Right.
same. What do you feel? How do you feel about that? Am I on my way off or?
No, no, I so if you've ever worked in a call center, there's the script they're going to give you, and but any if you're in the sales side of it or anything, most of that script is, you know, how can we be best friends in the next 2 seconds? Um, let's get real comfortable with each other real fast, and how do we do that? How do we feel that? And I think you're right that's you know they there's a skill, there's reason that certain people have those positions. Not everybody has those spots. Like you were saying, there's because it is a skill, it's a training, and I think that the people in the Telegram group have done a good job, so far being able to communicate on such a broad, basis to such a broad span of people. Um, and you're right that sometimes for myself, only, my wife says I'm very direct. Okay. Um, me, I like you were saying with the Germans, anything else is just a waste of time. I'm going to say what I need to say and then wait. I
Wow, I'd
think
like to thank
I
Charles for
agree.
coming on and taking the time to talk about the treasure hunt issue. In my next video, Charles will come on again and we will just touch upon the recent announcement on Chainlink. So if you liked this video, do consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get updates on when a new video is uploaded. Anyway, wherever you are in this world, have a great day, have a great evening, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.